Hello, folks. This is Gregory Black here, and yeah, your favorite wrestling writer. And this is a Thoughts from the Chubby Guy video. This could also be qualified as a Necro Black vlog since I haven't done one in a while, but I decided this would be the best method for me to do a Thoughts from the Chubby Guy video, or Thoughts from the Chubby Guy for this week. And why not? Damn, I wish I could turn off this flash. But I can't. It's fine. Well, in case you guys are wondering, I'm actually on my way to the gym at like damn near 1 o'clock in the morning. And this is going to be a pretty busy day because I'm also going to the gym 2 times today. Once right now, I'm taking my trip, and the other later on in the afternoon with a friend. So, man, oh man. You know, it's funny. Totally didn't get to catch the All-Star game today. I mean, I know the American League won. I know that much. I know the American League won. I know they beat the National League, which means they gain home field advantage in the World Series, and that's pretty cool. I still want one of the All-Star game caps. I got last year's. You've seen last year's in my pictures. I've shown it to you. So don't act like it's anything new. It's the Yankee cap with the gray in the front with the 2 stripes going across the front, but right behind the Yankee logo. Yeah, it's that one. Man, what a wild and crazy time that we're living in right now. You know, all right, so I didn't want to make this one of those super serious, super, well, I already said super serious, but semi-political, you get what I mean. It's not one of those posts that I wanted to make. It's not one of those recordings that I wanted to make. What I wanted to do, quite frankly, and don't mind me, I'm a little stuffy, so, and a little congested. Allergies. What I wanted to do was chime in a little bit on what's been going on in the last 2 weeks in regards to what's been going on with these shootings, these wild shootings, because there's been more than the 3 shootings that the news has been talking about. There's actually been several shootings. And of course, yesterday's I find disappointing, but a lot of people seem to be happy about it. The endorsement by Bernie Sanders of Hillary Clinton. Yeah, I'm not exactly fond of it, but it was unfortunately one of those inevitables, mainly because of the fact that, well, he's a super delegate. Him being a senator who is an independent under the Democratic Party, he has the what do you call it? He has the position as a super delegate. And of course, unfortunately, him having that super delegate status basically means that if he were to go against anyone else, if he were to not endorse Hillary Clinton, he would lose his superdelegate status. And personally speaking, you know, this kind of goes against everything that he's pretty much been fighting for, because he's pretty much woken up a lot of people. He has. His whole thing was, you know, fighting the establishment, and then because of this one little thing, he has to endorse the establishment candidates. Personally speaking, I think it would have been better if he would have just ran as a third-party candidate. I mean, even Jill Stein said that she would have him run as the presidential candidate for the Green Party if he would have wanted to run as an independent. But I assume that superdelegate status, well, was pretty important. But a lot of people believe, a lot of Bernie Sanders supporters believe, that what he's trying to pull is an FDR move, which is keep going to the convention, you know, endorse the other candidate, go to the convention, win the candidacy by convincing my mouth is dry. It's because I have to breathe through my mouth because my nose is stuffy. But yeah, convincing other delegates to vote for him. If you listen to the media, all of Hillary's pledged delegates don't plan on changing their vote. So it could be for naught. I don't want to believe it's for naught. But it could just be him wasting his time. But I hope it's not. I really, really, really sincerely hope it's not. Because if it is, that would be an even greater disappointment. But you know what? The convention is in a couple of days. Pardon me. The convention is in a couple of days. So we'll see. We'll see. Sorry. I had to check the time on this camera. This is my old camera that I'm using. But it has such great quality for video. Plus it has a flashlight. And if you don't believe me, this is a ZTE Warp that I'm using to record this video, and this is a Motorola Moto E. Has a case and a glass protector. You can tell. The glass protector is cracked, but the actual touchscreen is completely fine. Crazy. Smartphone owner problems. But let me get to the more serious matter. The shootings. Now, the media managed to cover 3 shootings, and those are of Alton Sterling, Philandro Castillo, and the 5 Dallas officers who were there during the Black Lives Matter march that were senselessly gunned down by a sniper who, truth be told, the media and a lot of people tried to peg as a major supporter. Almost got hit by a bike. As a major supporter of the Black Lives Matter movement. However, as the actual news came out, he was rejected by the Black Lives Matter movement and by all movements that were associated with Black Lives Matter. Now, The interesting thing, the interesting thing is that it's like it went from bad to worse, you know. But it was weird how everything happened in succession. Alton Sterling dies at the hands of 2 cops. His shooting was tragic. Now, granted, everybody that's all pro Blue Lives Matter and everything like that, you know, and even those who aren't, some have said, oh, well, if he didn't resist arrest, they wouldn't have shot him. If he didn't have a gun, they wouldn't have shot him. If he would have just complied, they wouldn't have shot him. And there might be some truth to that. There might be. Unfortunately, history has proven that's not necessarily always the case. Because 24 hours later, Philando Castile, who was complying with law enforcement, was shot dead after he was told to provide identification and proof, and not only of who he was, but also that he was, you know, after informing officers that he had a firearm, that he could legally carry that firearm. He complied. He didn't resist arrest. He didn't try to run. He didn't try to do anything. He wasn't, you know, as far as we know, because his girlfriend recorded after he was pumped full of 4 bullets. And she explained everything. And unfortunately, like a lot of these cases, this is one of those matters where if you weren't there, you can't really make much of a snap judgment. But this was bad all around. Evening. It's another reason why I walk around with this camera after the streets are all empty and everything. I just passed only one person, and that's like the second person I passed in 2 blocks. Speaking of which, hold up. Okay. But yeah, that shooting was that was tragic, to be honest. There's no other way to put it. You know, he was complying with the officer's request, and I think much like the what was the case? I think it was the Amadou Diallo case, where he was pulling out his wallet and he got shot by the cops because they thought it was a gun. I think that might have been the case. I could be wrong. Could be very wrong. Could have been another case, and I'm probably confusing the two, but I'm pretty sure it was Amadou Diallo. He was complying. He was trying to show them, hey, this is who I am. You know, I'm not trying to cause any trouble. With Alton Sterling, he was selling CDs, probably selling illegally, probably selling bootlegs or something like that. Probably didn't have a vendor's license or something, and that's probably why he was stopped. Even though the real reason was the store owner said there was someone in a red shirt that had a gun and this, that, and the third. At least, you know, that's what the store owner said. Upon watching the video, watching both angles, you know, unless he had one of those little tiny 2-barrel 2-shot guns that are about that big, and it's only, you know, one pull of the trigger and you can only shoot that one shot or those 2 shots, I doubt he had a gun in his front pocket. That's just me personally. Hey, that's just me personally. Now, here's what makes this whole situation a little more tragic. Protests followed. When the protests followed, you know, they weren't protesting against the police. This is what people seem to get confused with Black Lives Matter and the movement. Black Lives Matter, yeah, it highlights the members of the black community that are, you know, victims of police brutality, but in actuality, Black Lives Matter really will go out and defend anybody that has been a victim of police brutality, regardless of their race, gender, creed, sexual orientation. If they're a victim of police brutality, believe that Black Lives Matter is going to protest in their name, in their honor. And this is something that the Dallas Police Department recognized, and they actually have a slight partnership with Black Lives Matter. Not necessarily a partnership, but they're on good terms. And even members of the DPD were taking pictures with protesters. They were there with the protesters. They believed in the same message. They were like, look, this police brutality thing has to stop. And then this sniper comes and not only shoots at the officers, but he also shoots into the crowd. Like, this is insanity. This is something that nobody, regardless of race, creed, religion, sexual orientation, you know, no one should ever experience something as horrible as these shootings. But unfortunately, we have people who are just terrible people. You know, people who don't care about other people's lives. So they'll go and they'll commit these atrocities just to satisfy a sick need. And you know, it's sad because things like this,
so basically, you know,
things like this can lead to other things that are far worse. You know, the conversation about police brutality can go hand in hand with race relations in this country. And unfortunately, that's a conversation that we all need to, instead of arguing, sit down at a table and talk about. We can't rely on our political leaders to do it because, unfortunately, not everyone agrees with every political leader. There's a lot of people that hate President Obama. Hate him, legit hate him. They don't want to sit at the table with this guy because they feel he's a warmonger. And if you look at his record, it's kind of hard to argue against it. But it's not just him. It's like every other, you know, candidate, even the candidates that are running right now. Do you really want to trust Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump to have access to nuclear weapons? To have the power to send our military wherever the hell they feel like sending them? Do you really want that, you know, them to have that power? Anyway, folks, in closing, we just have to be better with each other. We need peace before we escalate to war. We need to have talks in order to reach that peace. So America, I'm encouraging you to have these talks. This has been Gregory Black, wrestling writer for the Sports Junkies 101, TSJ101.com. And this has been Thoughts from the Chubby Guy. Enjoy your evening, folks.